Okay everyone, we're back again. Gonna carry on with the front fenders from the 59 here, see if we can get some of these horrible dents out of them. It's going to be quite the chore. This one for the passenger side, that dent at the front, it's got creases and folds, and some places the steel's 3 inches or 3 layers thick. So I'll just show you what we're dealing with and what the plan is here. So here we have the one hit. This one shouldn't be too bad. This is pretty heavy steel. This is where it's really bad. There's creases. It's all folded up. And it's right in one of the toughest part of the parts of the fender. So what I've done is I took a piece of hardwood, and on the belt sander I rounded off all of the edges just so that I'm not adding more creases. I've got it sitting on a piece of 3/8 ply just to hold it up off the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this all up with the torch, and I'm going to start hammering on it and just see how it starts to pull out. Once I see how it's starting to come out, I'll have kind of an idea on where I'm going and what it's going to take to get this out of here. So I'll just get you set up in the tripod here and see if we can get this to work out a little bit. Okay, I'm just getting this warmed up. I'm just using a welding tip. I'm going to just concentrate on this main crease down here. I don't have a lot of faith in how this is going to come out, but it's all I can do. I may have to build a whole new piece to repair this. So. Not sure what's happening, but looks like it's starting to come out a bit. So really bad right along here. I would expect I'm going to get some tears. Okay, well I'm just going to keep pounding on this and I'll show you what I end up with. So I've been working on this about 15 minutes. This is starting to come out nice. The 2 creases have almost straightened out. It's going to take a fair bit of work to get it out. My real problem is right here. It's folded right over, probably close to 1/2 inch, and pushed up at the same time. I'm thinking I'm going to have to take this center piece out where the headlight mounts so that I can get access in here to pull this down. I think that's the only thing I'm going to be able to do there. So I'm going to drill out those spot welds and see what happens. So I've got about an hour and a half or so of pounding away on this fender, and got it out really good so far. But then I started looking at the other one, and as you can see right here, if I come to the back, this fender comes out and then it goes flat across the front, all the way across, and I can't believe it, but this thing, when it got hit so hard that it curved this whole flange in all the way around. So I have to now figure out how I'm going to get that to come out flat again and straighten out here. So I'm going to have to build myself another hardwood chunk and see if I can beat this thing down flat a little bit at a time here. Okay, so we're back a couple days later here. Life gets in the way sometimes, so I've spent probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours beating on this fender trying to get it straightened out. I got this dent pretty much worked out. This is light years better than it was. It's actually got some shape. What I have found is this damage here has really stressed the steel, caused a lot of cracks, and there's this flat edge that I mentioned, and maybe I can get the camera in here, you can see this is out a little bit here, and it's in a little bit right here. So what I'm going to end up having to do, I'm going to get this as straight as I can. I've got to knock this edge out a little bit. I'm going to come back to where it's good here, and I'm going to manufacture a new flange to go around to about here to the proper shape, because right now I can't get the headlight mount in there because this is just too far out to lunch. So I think if I just trim this back, build a new flange, I'll have to weld it in. There's a bunch of holes tore in it from the spot welds anyhow. Then I can reshape it to the headlight mount. Then I can finish planishing this all out. It's come along a long ways from where it was, so I'm pretty happy with that. I get to use the original steel that's got the blue and the black instead of the green and the black like the one I have out there. And that one out there, all of this is all rusty anyhow. So I would have had to manufacture all of those pieces. So I think I'm better off with spending the 2 hours, 2.5 hours I've been at this, probably another 2 to go. So I got this dent almost worked out. I still have a little planishing to do on it. The fender fits a whole lot better now. It's come back to where it's even on the back edge. Could go ahead just a touch more, but I think once I'm finished planishing, it'll be better. It was sticking back well over 1/4 of an inch here before, which is why it was rubbing into the door so bad. So I'm going to keep beating on this. I'll get this piece figured out, and I'll bring you back and we'll see if we can put that new piece in. Okay, we're still beating on it here. What I've got, I put the headlight mount in, and trying to get the light in the right spot here for you guys. So I started 4 screws. The way this thing is assembled is this mount is welded to the fender, and then there's 4 screws that hold it into the grill itself. So when you change the fender, you pull out these 4 screws and it all separates. So before I took this all apart, I drilled, as you remember, I drilled the 2 1/8 alignment holes. So this hole is now lined up, and I believe the one over here, it's within a 1/16 of an inch. It's a little bit too far in, but I can get that one in. So what I've found here is this is still too low. This lip has to come up, and this whole corner here has to go out a little bit. So I'm going to have to keep working this, try and get this to come out, and then I can start working on building this new flange on the inside to get this all to fit back together again. It's going to take quite a bit of pounding, I think, here, because this has to roll up probably close to 1/4 of an inch on the front edge, and then this has to come out probably about the same, and then I'm going to have to put this flat back in it here. So I'll keep pounding away on her and get her fit. There's still a wrinkle here, and that's probably the extra material from having this thing pull out where it's supposed to be here. Okay, we're getting really close here now. I've got my alignment pin in here, drill bit. I had the awl stuck in here, but it fell out. That's how nice it's starting to fit. We're getting really close to where it has to go. What I ended up doing was cutting this flange out from here up to about here. I'll have to build a new one for there. This still has to come out a little bit more, and I'll just show you what I've been using here. There's a company called Stek, S-T-E-K, and they make these Delrin adapters for your air chisel, air hammer. They have a flat one, a chisel shaped one, and then the one that I've been using, the one that I use the most is this semi-round sort of a plug end. And with this flange removed here, I can get in with this really easy, and it moves the material so nicely without putting any damage or dents in it. I'm just going to take my headlight mount out again, and I'm just going to move this corner out just a touch more here and see where we end up. Okay, I got the headlight mount removed. Just going to get my air chisel in here, and I'm going to work this area here. I've moved it out really nice. I'm just going to check my fit again. Okay, we're really close now. As you can see, this thing fit in here really nice. I had to pound it in with a hammer prior to getting this all pushed out on the side here. I've got to planish all of this, and then I have to put this flat spot in the front edge, and then I can make my flange this is welded to. So I'm going to carry on, do some more planishing here. It's a little bit high right here, but I'm thinking once I start putting this edge in, that'll take care of this. Okay, here's where we're at. I got this nice and straight now. What I ended up doing was cutting out this area here. Because this had been pushed in so far, it stretched the material, and we ended up with too much. So what I'm going to do now is make a new piece for there. And I started off with a piece of 18 gauge that I broke at 90 degrees. What I'm going to do is straighten, or should I say, I'm going to stretch this side to form this piece. That'll give me my flange on the inside. And I'll just fit it to this, as well as to the headlight bucket itself here. So I'll just get you set up so you can see what's going on. I got the shrinker stretcher here. And I've got my headlight bucket. So I have to form this piece so that it goes around like so. So I'm going to stretch the back side here. You have to do this fairly slow, or you'll end up tearing the back of the steel because you're stretching it too fast. Just hoping it's going to go enough without splitting. Got a long ways to go. It's got to be a really sharp 90, so I'll just keep pounding away on it here. Got a fair bit into it now. Long ways to go. I'm really hoping it doesn't tear the backside as it thins it. A lot closer. Closing in on it. Okay, just going to need a little bit more down on this side. Mighty close. Okay, that's pretty dang close right there. Might need a touch more right where my thumb is here. Okay guys, I'm now going to take that and I'm going to fit it into the opening I've got. Get you in the right spot here. She's really close. So what I'm going to end up doing is a whole bunch of trimming to get this sit exactly where I want it. And then I'll have to fit this piece in there as well. And then I can weld everything back together here. So once I get this trimmed up a little bit, I'll bring you back. Okay, so I have my replacement piece in behind here. I've slowly been shaping it and trimming it down. I've got to cut it to length on this side, and then I'm going to round this out a little bit, and then I can put a final cut mark on my replacement piece, and then I should be able to almost tack it in place there. Okay guys, so I have my piece all fitted. It's all flush all the way around on the top edge here and down here. So what I'm going to do is tack these two corners, and then I'll have to planish this and weld it as I go just to make sure everything stays nice and flush. Once I get this tacked in here really good all the way around, what I'm going to do is pull the inner piece out and I can finish all my welds. I'm probably going to, I'm not quite sure here. I think I'll wait until afterwards. I will, once this is all welded in place here, I'm going to run a big heavy bead on the inside a little bit at a time, just so that I have something to grind against, almost a fillet inside the back there. So I'm going to get this all tack welded in, and I have some where I ground out or drilled out the spot welds, that the metal was thin enough that the spot weld drill went all the way through, so I have to fill those holes so that I can weld this all back in where it's supposed to go here. So, okay, I'll bring you back here once I get this welded in. Okay, here we are. It's all tacked in. I'm going to remove the centerpiece now, the headlight bucket, and I'm going to weld where the flange goes in, top and bottom. Then I'll finish welding this. I'll get it ground up. Then I'm going to have to take the fender off and fill in all of those holes I had mentioned, and I'll show you once I get to that. So once I have this out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld a piece of rod from this side to this side of the fender, just to keep the shape all in while I fill that all up. Then I can bolt the fender back on, put this ring in, and weld it up, and I should be good on this fender repair. Okay, I got this welded. I got it ground with 60 grit, and then I just went over it with the DA with 80 grit. I think it came out really good. I've got some more planishing to do here. There's still a few wrinkles from where it was all folded over. A little bit of a low spot right here that I'm going to try and work out. It's just kind of an awkward spot to get at, but we'll see if we can get it. And then there's a little bit over here that needs planishing. Again, it's really hard to get at because of what's on the inside. So I'm just going to work at it a little bit, see if I can get it nice and smooth. Then I can weld my brace on, and I can go to work on fixing up all of these holes on the inside here. So we'll bring you back here shortly. Okay guys, I got everything all finished off here. I got it planished as good as I can. There's quite a few little divots in here. This would take maybe 1/8 of an inch of Bondo, maybe a 1/16 to finish it out if a guy was going to do that. I welded a brace in here from this corner to this corner to keep the shape. Now I'm going to pull it off, and I can do all the repair from those holes. Then I can weld the headlight bucket back in there. Okay, we're back again. Another new day. I've got everything fit. I've got the centerpiece. All of the holes are, I've got everything tacked in. The headlight bucket. The 4 screws are just keeping everything in place. Whoa, just about knocked the light on the ground. So now what I can do is pull this out. I can finish plug welding all of my welds for the headlight bucket. That'll probably get seam sealed from the back side so that there's no chance of moisture coming through and rotting that out. So I'll get that out of there. I've got all of the dents worked out. The only thing I have left to do to repair on this one is they had this fender bolted from the outside. When that bolt come apart, or the captured nut came apart, it's got a bunch of cracks in it. So the rust starts about here on this one. So I'm going to dissect this, and I'm just going to put a piece in down to here because everything below that is still good. I got this nasty dent out of the bottom. Still have a crack to weld up there, and that should take care of this fender. And this was the worst one, so glad to see that done. I'll bring you back once I get this front all welded up. Okay, we're on with the next part of this repair. This is the last piece to repair on this, on the passenger side fender. This is the bottom part of the fender. The rust stops right about here, and what they did was the captured nut must have broke off in here. The whole piece is missing, so they just drilled a hole right through and bolted it, and it caused a bunch of cracks here. So I'm going to make this new piece. A little bit more difficult than what I thought because it's got a slight curve to it, so it's going to be a bit of a bitch to put this pinch on it here. So I'll just show you what I did. I marked it out. I stayed about 1 inch inside the brace. I'm going to clean this all out. I'm going to rust convert it, and then I'll prime it. I'll just flip it over the other way here and show you the other side. I tried to keep as much of the original fender as possible. just so that all of the shape stays there. It can really get away from you if you start taking out a whole bunch here, unless you absolutely have to. Just stand it up. Okay, so here's what I've got cut out. So I'm going to make my patch for this. I'm going to clean all this rust out of here, get it nice and clean, rust converter and some primer on it. I've got a chunk of 18 gauge that I cut out. It's close to the right size. I left about a 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch all the way around for my patch. I put a little bit of a curve in it. And what I've done is I've used the inner structure to mark where my fold over has to go. So that is roughly where I've got to bend this over to slide over top of this lip. So I'm going to stay outside this a little bit, but because it's a curve, I'm going to have to do it by hand. And probably what I'll do is I'll clamp this to my piece of I-beam or into my brake, and I'm going to use my 3-inch duckbill pliers to get this broke. Well, when it falls apart, guys. As I said, without the record button pushed, I have the perfect tool here for breaking this at 90 degrees on a curve. Tipping die and the solid die on the bottom. So after I was done, I noticed that I wasn't recording. So I have it there now. I'm going to put a piece of 18 gauge on the inside of this, and I'm going to finish tapping it over here on my piece of I-beam. Okay, we're back to finish bending this. So what I have is the piece that I just put the 90-degree brake in, with another piece on top of it locked into my brake here, and I'm just going to tap this over top of the piece that it's clamped to. You want to do this fairly slow. You don't want to go a whole bunch at one end, because what you'll do is stretch the edge and put a lot of shape in it that you don't want. And I'm not going to pinch it really tight to begin with. I'm going to wait until it's installed on the brace there. Otherwise, I might not get it apart. So I'll get this set up and put on, and we'll see how the patch worked out. What I've got is the two pieces put together here, and I'm just working the curve into it that I need to match the fender. Doing this so that this doesn't kink and close up. So I got my patch all made, curved. I got weld through primer on everything. I'm just doing the final fitment here now. It's a pretty snug fit. I'm just checking for clearance now for where my welds go. I want to keep the back perfectly flush here. So we're a little bit tight here on the corner. And just a little bit down here on the corner. So what I'll do is I'll pull it out and I'm going to take it off of my patch instead of working on the factory steel. It does have to move up just a little bit here. So I'll get the final fitment done and then we can get this tacked into place. Okay, I got this all tacked in. There was that little bit of a curve at the bottom here that ended up being a bitch. So once I've got this all tacked and nothing's going to move, now I'm going to finish sealing down this edge. Okay, now I can finish welding it, do some grinding, sanding, and this fender will be done. So we're all welded. I'm just planishing this now, trying to follow the proper contours here. So I've got it here, come out really nice, a little bit high right here in this corner. I'm going to finish sanding and then I'm going to finish planishing this all out. Okay guys, I got this fender all roughed out, put back on, repair at the bottom. Rocker panel lines up really nicely. Still got a little bit to do here around the antenna. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. Should be good for a driver. Okay guys, that'll do her for this video. Got that passenger side fender wrapped up. So next video, I'm not quite sure if we'll be working on the A-pillars and the windshield. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for those parts to come in, I'm going to take care of the driver's side fender, get that one all done, and we'll see what happens from there. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for subscribing, catch you on the next one.